Hi everyone, I want to bring you another video from the PTR for season 24. This time we have been doing some LoD bombardment speedruns, and those are actually looking pretty good next season. So LoD bombardment was already one of the top solo speed farmers in the game in season 23. I think it was actually the second best, right behind Firebirds, and even above GR120 if it's like truly optimized and played very well. It's a bit harder to play than something like GR120, but in groups not that crazy. And here is an example of a 123 speedrun, and we have done multiple runs here, and it was always 2-3 minutes or something like that. So this is pretty much plus minus GR120 level. We've been doing this with around 1800 paragons here. I think this was even without augments on the Crusaders, and they both like standardized their main stat to the same level. So definitely nothing super high end here. And with the Ethereals, they get quite a big bonus here. They have the Redeemer, which is a nice weapon that gives them, first of all, the plus 100% damage that all the Ethereals have, and also this Demon and Undead damage, which will make some monster types, actually quite a lot of them, very easy and just obliterate them. And then you have something like a Z-Barb here and a ZDH. You buff them with the damage buffs and with movement speed and stomping stuff together for area damage, and they just obliterate. It's quite important for these runs to find the right pace, because they rely on Messerschmitt's Riva, so if they don't get enough kills and stuff takes too long, then this setup will kind of like feel very clunky really quickly. So you can go higher, but it will very quickly go much slower than that. So finding the right pace is important, but if you stay at something like 3 minutes, this is exactly the right pacing, and they just obliterate. In general, the speed meta for season 24 looks very fun and very diverse, so the kind of easy winner here is Firebirds again. So it's gonna be the best because it gets a huge bonus on the Ethereals as well. And then behind that is the red runs, like a very small margin, maybe like 5 to 10% XP per hour. You can probably beat Firebirds with like super optimized red runs, especially if you do a lot of cheats. But for the most people, I think Firebirds is going to be the winner. And then very slightly behind the typical reds, there is like all these other metas with the Monk, with the Bombardment Crusader, and also with GR120. And they are not really far off anyway, like another 5 or 10% XP per hour. So it's definitely close enough to allow kind of everyone to be part of the meta. So this meta doesn't have to be played with 2 Crusaders. You can also do 1 Crusader, 1 Monk. You can do 1 Crusader, 1 GR120, and that might actually be even better to have a combination between them, because they have like similar damage or similar kind of a clear speed on this tier, and you have kind of the strengths of 2 classes combined. The GR120 can very easily clean up like little single elites or something like that, something that's like a leftover after the Crusader's bombardment nuke, because sometimes the Crusader just stands there and he doesn't have any buttons to press, and this is where something like GR120 obviously shines. Here's an example of a solo run with a bombardment Crusader. So I was doing 110s here, which is quite low. So on the GR120 I was easily blasting 115s. Even on my inner Monk I was blasting 112s, 115s, and inner is probably going to get buffed. So it is a bit lower, but this is also mostly due to my gear being heavily unoptimized. And I don't really have much experience playing this build. But as you can see, I'm obliterating stuff here anyway. And I had like a low level Boyarski's ship. I had like almost no thorns rolls on my items. This was kind of whatever I threw together, and I think I had like 3 non-ancient items as well, which obviously is hurting an LoD build quite a lot. But it works really well, even in solo. I'm also going to make a guide for this at some point, but the setup is amazing next season. So something I wanted to highlight, even though 4-man high-end meta is not looking good for Crusaders now with the Herod's Fury nerf, we do have this, and if you're playing a Crusader, then you're going to have a lot of fun with this, I'm sure. In fact, Crusader is actually still one of the best solo pushing classes next season. It actually has 3 builds that's going to clear 150 solo next season, which is this one, LoD Bombardment, then there's Akan's Bombardment, and then there's also Heaven's Fury, again, even with the nerf. Simply because those Ethereals are really nice. Well, they don't really do anything for Akan's, but they lift Heaven's Fury up a bit, and they lift this build up quite a lot actually. And there is probably no other class that's gonna have 3 different leaderboards with 150 clears next season. I have the defeat planner for this setup, including the Ethereals, already in my description here. We also have the Maxwell guide from Bonofar, who has a lot of experience with this build. He's been blasting this a lot in Season 23 especially, and that will also be updated to Season 24 very soon. So go check them out. I'm also going to make a more in-depth video in the near future talking about the setup and how to play this and all that. But for now, I'm going to leave you with this. Hope you enjoyed this little video, and see you guys next time.